Hey guys, Mike Bays, Bettendorf, Stanford. Back again. We're going to talk a little bit about ceramic blade guides today. We got blade guides in several different flavors and kinds, but today we're going to talk about changing the ceramics out on a blade guide. These ceramics have been wonderful things that over the years that they really last for a long time, but when they get wore out, they're wore out. Now, before we go start talking about anything in detail, we will remember all this safety stuff. If we tell you or show you to do anything in here that's against the safety rules or the policy of your bakery, shut the video off, get back to work, and we'll try to get something on the next one. So we've got these blade guides in to rebuild. We've inspected this. We smoked it in some denatured alcohol, right? That takes all the bakery gunk off of it so we can kind of see what we're looking at. We're not eating into the metal here. We've still got ceramic, but the ceramic is just about gone. So this is Sammy number 3 here helping me. She works in our blade guide department. She knows what she's doing for the most part, so we got her in here to help us on this today because I'm not the expert on doing this stuff myself, nor anything else for that matter. So we're going to check this out. It looks pretty good. Now we're going to check to make sure it's worth rebuilding. So we're going to make sure our screw seat's in there really good, and we're going to make sure it fits on our nose bar master there. So our screw is going to go in there, and she can get it in there, and the screw's nice and straight and completely seated. So now she's going to check it over there on the nose bar master. When she's not working in a bakery, Sammy 3, she likes to drink Mad Dog 2020 out of a paper cup, chain smoke Lucky Strike cigarettes, and watch Big Time Wrestling and Roller Derby on TV. If any of you guys out there interested, y'all send us a line, and we'll see if we can get you in touch. All right, it's worth rebuilding. Now, I know a lot of people will try to put a torch on this and melt this thing out. Number one, it's going to make a big stinky mess, and number two, this stuff is precipitation hardened steel, which means it was soaked in a vacuum in an oven at about 900 degrees for several hours. That's the type of steel it is, and that gives it its rigidity, so it's not easy to bend. And you take a real good chance of annealing or normalizing this with heat enough to get this stuff melted out. So we're going to put this thing in, is it denatured alcohol or acetone to melt the glue out?
Acetone.
Acetone. We're going to soak this thing in acetone for about 24 hours. Now, just like the cooking show on TV, we've got one over here that we have soaked for 24 hours. We've got the old ceramics out of it. We've cleaned it up real good. And now we're getting ready. We're going to put some new ceramics in it, but before we do, we need to gauge it. We have this gauge here that we built, and this is a go-no gauge, no-go gauge. So it should slide in on this gauge, and it should not slide on this one. If it does, it ought to be really, there it is, really nice and snug. If it needs adjusting, we've got these pliers made up. She can probably show you how to do them a lot better than I can, because I'll bend it backwards every doggone time. We can squeeze them fingers together where we need them. We'll get that, so that's all set, and then we're ready to glue our ceramics in there. We've got us 2 new ceramics. We have cleaned them in denatured alcohol. We have re-cleaned the blade guide in denatured alcohol, so everything is all nice and clean. Now we want to make sure that them ceramics fit into them guides before we put the glue on there. That's the time to figure that out, which they do. And we always want, I don't know if our cameraman can get in, but we want that guide going down to the bevel. Just like that. So we want to make sure that that ceramic fits in, both of them fit in there right before we glue them in. You gonna check the other side?
Yes.
You're the expert. That's the same side we just checked. Better flip it over. My goodness gracious. Okay, so that fits in there good. So now we're going to glue it in. All right, it don't take a whole lot of glue either, guys. Go ahead and have at her there. This gets a little messy. If you're doing this on your own, you can use feeler gauges. The easiest thing is just get some new blade guides, change them out, and send the other ones in to us, and we can re-ceramic them things, re-gauge them, put everything back perfect, and get them back to you in a heartbeat. So we want to snap that in, right? We want to snap it in, and we wiggle it a little bit to seat it. And then we clamp it. One clamp or two? 2 clamps. I don't mess with these girls in here. They got a system. And we're going to clamp the other. We're going to glue the other side and clamp it. It don't take much. Now, even though they call this instant adhesive, it will not reach full cure for 24 hours. So these guides, they have to be, them ceramics have to be glued in there and clamped for 24 hours before you unclamp them. Then that's it. She's glued up and ready to go. Now, we've got one over here that we have been setting for 24 hours. We have cleaned off the excess, a little bit of excess glue there with acetone once again. And we have to now gauge this guide. So Sammy's going to put this in our nose bar again, make sure that we're doing good, aren't you? Yeah. Okay. Make sure everything is good, everything snaps in fine. So we've got ourselves a good guide. We're going to check this on our go and no-go gauge. And it should go on our go side, and it should not go on our no-go side. Nice and snug fit there. Okay, won't go in our no-go. We know our gap's right, but a blade guide ain't a blade guide till we do it old school. How you gonna gauge it? We're gonna gauge it with a .026 feeler gauge, and we check every single one. That feeler gauge ought to be sitting in there flat, contact on both sides, and slide up and down. So even though it goes in our gauges, we still check every blade guide. Do you have anything else to add to this little episode? You're good to go? Okay, I think I'm good to go. Once again, this is not a difficult job. It's a tedious job. If your blade guides aren't set right, your blade's going to overheat or your blade's going to wobble. One of the two. 26 thousandths is the gap. 16 thousandths blade, 26 thousandths on your guide. So you got to have that spacing right. And a lot of times you'll think you've got it spaced out right here and it'll feel good, and it'll get down here and it'll wobble all around, and you're just gonna have problems. So make sure you got your gap right. Make sure you got fresh glue. Make sure you clamp it 24 hours. You good to go? All right, I think that's a wrap. You guys go out there, work safe, work smart, laugh a little bit, cuss a little bit, and we'll see you in about a week or 10 days.